With manufacturing plants on 6 continents, odds are you've seen a Ford on the roads. Hi everyone, Ken here. Welcome to This House. Today we are exploring the homes of Henry Ford. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. Henry Ford came from humble beginnings. Both of his parents had immigrated to the United States to find a better life. They established a modest farm in Michigan, where Henry would become curious about the interworkings of the various machines used on the farm. Henry never received any formal education. Nonetheless, he became very knowledgeable about the machines he was around, repairing them and tinkering with them. He gained such a reputation as a mechanic in a small community that when he applied for a job at the Edison Illuminating Company, he was employed as an engineer. His innate ability stood out to his manager, and he was quickly promoted to the position of chief engineer. Thomas Edison worked closely with the young savant, encouraging him to experiment with the use of gasoline in engines, an experiment that would lead Henry to develop his own automobile engine. Within a couple years, Henry left the Edison Illuminating Company to start the Ford Motor Company, and by 1908, he had produced the Model T, an affordable car designed for mass production. In 1911, he had manufacturing plants in 3 countries. Ford had dominated the automobile industry and had amassed a fortune while doing so, but he would never forget his humble roots. Before building his dream house, he made sure his workers were taken care of. Even though he was opposed to unions, he still integrated policies to make sure his workers were taken care of. He put a 40-hour-per-week work limit on each employee, hiring men and women to fill any available role. He paid every worker the same amount, $5 per day, or, adjusting for inflation, the modern-day equivalent of nearly $20 per hour. Though adjusting for buying power across all daily commodities, his workers would have earned the equivalent of nearly $30 per hour. With a clear conscience, knowing that his workers could live comfortable lives, he went on to enjoy his wealth. Together with his wife Clara, the couple scouted a 1,300-acre lot sitting along the Rogue River in Dearborn, Michigan. They initially hired Frank Lloyd Wright to design their home, but would end up cycling through 4 different architects, each working off the sketches of the last until their vision could be realized, which led to a rather eclectic mix of the Prairie style and Tudor Revival style, composing the 56-room mansion. Construction started, but not without respects being paid to the man who pushed Henry Ford to become the businessman he was. Henry invited Thomas Edison to lay the cornerstone before the builders got started. At 31,000 square feet, and with so many small rooms, the house dubbed Fairlane felt cozy, unlike the grand palaces associated with many of the barons of industry. The house was meant to be used as a family home and included spaces such as a bowling alley and an indoor pool, though much of the time was spent outdoors enjoying the wooded landscape. Walking into the home, you would pass through an antehall. In line with Frank Lloyd Wright's designs, you would be compressed by a low ceiling before being released into a larger space. Unlike Wright's designs, the stair hall was heavily ornamented and shared the likeness of an English manor house. Though some rooms stayed more true to Wright's vision, as we can see exposed stone walls and the sun porch, carrying the exterior of the home inside. The dining room mixed elements of classical design with Frank Lloyd Wright's simple geometry, lending the wall panels to appear as a precursor to the Art Deco style. The music room varied from this design practice by harkening back to the Gilded Age glamour. White wood panels were set below pilasters capping off at the frieze below a Jacobean ceiling. The oversized hearth dominated the wall with contrasting wood tones, each section boasting elaborate relief work. The living room carried on the same decor theme as the music room, but with unpainted wood paneling and pilasters. The plaster ceiling was less geometric with simple shapes connected by a vine motif. Even the smaller rooms, such as the library, were equally as ornate. The library contained a barrel-vaulted ceiling with ornate wood trims surrounding built-in bookcases and a stone fireplace. In 1916, the Ford family set out to find a vacation home in Florida. They fell in love with a humble bungalow named the Mangoes and promptly offered $22,000 to purchase the property, or the modern-day equivalent of about $600,000. The house was perfect. Not only was it next door to the Edison's vacation home, but it was more reminiscent of Henry's childhood home. The family would camp on the beach, make their own meals in the kitchen, and square dance in the living room. They would spend 20 quaint years vacationing to this house, But Fort Myers, Florida was becoming a tourist trap. The area had lost the quaint charm that first drew them to it, and they started looking for a new vacation property. They found a beautiful old plantation home in Savannah, Georgia that had been built in 1825. It was in major need of repair, but the bricks and stones that composed it had weathered in the most elegant way. The Fords could not resist the alluring aesthetic of the 100-year-old brick, so they purchased the property, but they did not like the location. With the utmost care, they had the house disassembled, with plans to reassemble it wherever they would find their ideal setting for a vacation house. Continuing their property search in Georgia, they were shown a large tract of land in Way's Station. The 85,000-acre tract was not oceanfront, but a river wrapped around it. This was the perfect setting for their new vacation home. Scrapping the plans to reassemble the plantation house, they commissioned an architect to design a 7,000 square foot home that could use all the brick they had salvaged from the plantation. Interestingly enough, the spot they decided to build on had formerly been a plantation house, which had been burned down by General Sherman's troops in 1864 during the Civil War. The only parts of the former plantation that were still intact were the row of oaks lining the drive and a rice mill, which Henry would convert into his workshop. The house would become known as Richmond Plantation, and would eventually see 400 more homes built on its grounds. In honor of the Fords' presence in the town, Way Station was renamed to the town of Richmond Hill. Today, all three of Henry Ford's houses are still standing. Fair Lane is currently being used as a space for a nonprofit organization. The Mangoes is open as a museum along with Thomas Edison's vacation home. The Richmond Plantation has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places and is now privately owned. Which of these three homes was your favorite? Let me know down below in the comments section, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. As always, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and extend a special thank you to our This House supporters whose names you can see on screen right now. If you would like to see your name on this screen, join our membership program today. I'll see you next time on This House.